have discussed about the constraints, right? What are the constraints? Null constraint, primary key constraint, foreign key constraint, default constraint, check constraints, right? So there is almost 7 to 8 constraints we have discussed, and all those constraints, what they are doing, they are validating the data before you are inserting into a table. For example, if you are making a check constraint on a table, okay, so that check constraint like salary greater than some amount, if you are fixing like that, so before you are going to insert the data into particular table, okay, so the check constant will check out whether this condition is satisfied or not. If it is satisfied, then it will insert, right? So those are all the constraints already predefined in SQL server. Okay, if you want to write down your own constraints in the sense, for example, if I'm going to insert a data in on a particular table, okay, I'm going to insert a data on a particular table. So before inserting data into that table, I want to do some operation. I want to do some operation. That operation, like before inserting this data into particular table, I want to insert into other table also, or I want to delete somewhere, or you can do any kind of operation. So these kind of programming you can put inside a trigger. Okay, trigger is nothing but a set of SQL statements, same like procedure and function, but the functionality of the trigger is you can put all these statements in inside a trigger, and whenever you are trying to insert the data into particular table, then automatically this trigger will execute. You don't need to execute this trigger manually. If you are going to do any DML operation, DML operations means insert,
Data manipulate language.
update, delete, right? These are the 3 DML commands. So any of one command, if you are trying to do on a particular table, so on which table you are creating this trigger, if you are trying to do this any of one operation on a particular table, so then automatically that trigger will execute automatically. So whatever the logic you are putting inside the trigger, then it will do that operation, right? So there are 2 kind of triggers we have. One is instead of trigger, and the second one is after trigger. Okay, instead of means before you are going to insert the data, right? You are trying to insert the data, but that operation is not committed, it is not inserting. Before it is inserting the data into a particular table, it will execute this trigger. Okay, it will execute the trigger after it will insert the data into that particular table. If you are coming to the after trigger, so you are trying to insert the data, yes, it's committed and it is inserting the data into target table. After that it will execute the trigger, whatever the trigger you have written, right? So basically how many kinds of triggers we have? Instead of, insert trigger, instead of, update trigger, instead of, delete trigger, after insert, after delete, after update. Okay, so these are all the trigger types. These many triggers you can create. Instead of means is a before trigger, before inserting the data. After trigger means you can insert after. You can write down in place of after, you can write down for also, for clause also. Instead of after, you can write down for also, right? So what this instead of insert trigger will do, So whenever you are trying to insert a data into a particular table, okay, so before it is committing the data into that particular table, it is executing the trigger, whatever the trigger you have written, and the same way update for delete. And after it, if you are coming to the after triggers, after inserting the data, and that transaction will committed and it will execute the triggers, right. So how to write a triggers? First I am going to write down after insert trigger. The create structure of this trigger is create trigger. The trigger name I'm going to write down like after insert, I means insert EMP, right. Before that I'm going to show you two tables. I have two tables. Select star from EMP. This, you see, this is one table. Start from, this is one more table. Okay, so if you observe here, right, so I want to truncate the first table data. Right, so this table having some data, this is employee table, and this employee table having some data. Okay, and this is the audit table. Okay, I want to auditing the information like what kind of information. So for example, if anybody wants to insert the data into this table, okay, I want to track that into this table. And if anybody wants to delete a record, delete any employee from this table, so I want to track that record into this table, audit table. Okay, so whatever the operations, whatever the transactions are happening on this particular employee underscore demo table, those transactions I want to insert into this table. Whenever you are trying to insert any data on this employee underscore demo table, I want to insert the same data into this table also. Okay, right. Create trigger, trigger name. On which table you are going to create this trigger? Employee demo table. This is the table. I want to create a trigger on this table. What kind of trigger you are going to create? I want to create after insert, right. This after insert means after you are trying to insert the data, right, it is inserted the data, and then this trigger will execute automatically. Whenever you are trying to insert a data, then this trigger will execute automatically. Okay, yes, begin, right. So if you observe here, there are three columns in this particular table. Okay, there are three columns in the particular table. I want to insert this data into this table, this table. So if you observe here, employee ID, employee name, EMP salary, and what kind of trigger, what kind of operation you have done here, whether it is inserted or deleted, updated, that kind of statement I want to insert here. And audit timestamp. Timestamp means when this operation is happened, when this insertion, when this deleted record is done. So that kind of timestamp I have to maintain here. So for the demonstration purpose, I want to take this 1 2 3 3 4 5 variables, right. I want to declare the variables. Declare at the rate of emp underscore id integer, and declare at the rate of emp underscore name varchar 100. Declare at the rate of emp underscore salary integer. Declare at the rate of audit action. This is also varchar 100. Okay, right. So these are enough. These are the four variables I have declared. Right. So in triggers there are two tables in SQL server. Whenever these triggers are trying to execute, so there are two imaginary tables existing in your triggers. That imaginary tables are, one is inserted. The table name is, one is inserted, and the second table name is deleted. What are these two tables? Right. So you are trying to insert some data into some table, right? Before it is inserting the data into a particular table, that data it will come into inserted table. That is the imaginary table you can't see anywhere, and it is not existing in your SQL server. It is not existing in your database. That will existing until that proceed, until this trigger will run. Okay, until the execution of this trigger, that imaginary tables will execute. So what are those imaginary tables? Inserted table, deleted. So this deleted table contains whatever the records you have deleted, and this inserted table contains whatever the records you have inserted. Okay, right. So what I'm going to do here, so whenever you are trying to insert any data on this table, employee underscore demo, so that data will come into this inserted table. Right, I'm going to, so that whatever the value you are trying to insert into employee ID, employee name, employee salary, right? So these, for these variable, three variables, I'm going to assign that values from inserted table. Select at the rate of emp underscore id equal to emp underscore id from inserted, and I'm going to give alias name as I. This column is coming from I dot. Okay, so this way I want to do for this remain also. Employee name, sorry, employee salary, okay, and I'm going to set this audit action, or here you can put here also, equal to what kind of audit action it is. So this is a after insert, right? After insert trigger executed. Got it? Right. So now what I'm going to do here, I want to insert the values from these variables into this table, employee underscore demo underscore audit table. Okay, right. Insert into right into this table we are going to add it, right? Emp underscore id, employee name, emp salary, audit action, audit timestamp, values. What values we are going to insert? These are the variables, right? At the rate of emp id, at the rate of emp name, at the rate of emp underscore salary, comma, comma. So the audit timestamp means get data I am going to insert. Then end. Got it? So what here we are doing? Create trigger the trigger name, and which table you are going to trigger this one, this table, employee underscore demo table. So whenever you are trying to insert a data into this employee underscore demo table, the trigger type is after insert. After you are inserting the data into that this table, okay, that data already it will come to this inserted imaginary table. Whatever the data you have inserted into this table, that will existing in this inserted table. This is imaginary tables. Okay, these are existing only until this scope of this trigger. After, automatically they will delete and they disappear. You can't see anywhere. Okay, right. So I have declared 4 variables, and whatever the data you are trying to insert it, that will existing in this inserted table, and I am taking all the values and assign into these variables. Okay, and finally I am going to insert that data into this audit table. Okay, right, I am going to execute this one. Okay, execute it. So if you can check here, this table we are creating this trigger, right? Refresh it. Yes, this is the trigger AIEMP. Got it? Right. So now what I am going to do here, this trigger type is after insert, right? Now I want to insert some data into this employee demo. Then after you are inserting the data, then this trigger automatically will execute and it will insert the data into this employee underscore demo underscore audit table. So this table don't have any data, right? After you are inserting the data into this table, this trigger will execute and insert into this table, right? Insert into this table, EMP name, EMP salary, values, shell down, the name is, and the salary is 6890. Okay, right. So what it will happen, if you are inserting the data on this employee underscore demo table, that information will come and execute into this table also. How? Because you have written one trigger. Inside the trigger you have put this logic, right? Right, I'm going to insert this. Insert it, right? Right. So you can check whether the data is coming to this table or not. First we will check whether this data is coming to this main table or not. Right. The shell down and the employee salary is coming. So if you are checking the audit table, right? So audit table also inserting, but you didn't write any insert statement for this table, right? But how this data is coming to this table? Because you have put that information in this trigger. Whenever you are trying to insert any data in the trigger, then it will fire this after insert trigger and it will insert the data, whatever the data shell done, 8 employee salary, and you have written, right? This audit type is after insert trigger executed. Okay, and the time is today time. Got it? Right. So this is the after insert. For example, if you want to delete a record into that particular, if I want to delete some records from this employee underscore demo table, okay, if I want to delete from this table, what happened? So that time I'm going to write down delete. The trigger type is delete. After you are deleting the any record from the table, okay, I want to audit, I want to track, I want to insert the record, whatever the record you have deleted from this table into this table. Okay, right, this is a deleted trigger. And so after you are deleting some record from this main table, so that records will jump into this table, deleted table. The imaginary table is deleted table, right? The value is coming from this deleted table and assigned to this variable, assigned into this variable, this variable. Got it? So I'm going to change the trigger name also. This is AD. Right, I'm going to command completed successfully. If you see, this is the trigger. Right, if I want to delete some record from here, delete from where this record I want to delete. Emp underscore name equal to shell. Okay, right. So in the audit table you have only one record, that is whenever you are trying to insert that record, so that trigger is fired and you have inserted this record. So now what I am going to do here, I want to delete a record from the table. So at that time, after delete, trigger will fire and it will execute this trigger and it will insert whatever the record you have deleted. Right, so now I'm going to, I want to change for the demonstration purpose, this is a delete trigger. Okay, right. So whenever if you want to alter this trigger, you have to write down alter trigger. Right, I'm going to delete the record. Right, so if you check here from the main table, that record is deleted and that record will come to this one after deleted trigger is executed. Got it? So this way you can write down the insert and delete triggers. So in place of this inserted deleted, you can put updated. You can create updated trigger also. Whenever you are trying to update any record, that will come into, right. So in the update case, what happened? So whatever the record you are updating, okay, so that old record is coming into deleted table, and the new record, whatever the value you are going to update, that value is coming into inserted table. If you want the new record, then you can go into inserted table, imaginary table. If you want the old record, whatever the record is override, that one if you want from the deleted table, you can take it. Right, so nothing is difference. Instead of delete, update, delete, insert, you can put update. Okay, got it? Any confusion? Guys, did you understand what is the purpose of this trigger, what this trigger is doing? Right, so the next one, instead of trigger. What is the difference between this after trigger and inserted trigger? After trigger and instead of trigger. Right, so now I am going to show you instead of trigger. This is also three type of triggers, right? Instead of insert, instead of update, okay, instead of delete. Right, so then what is the syntax for this instead of trigger? What it is doing? Guys, anybody tell what is the difference between instead of and after trigger? Right, I will explain. So the difference is after insert, after delete, after update, any of one, statement, any of one command, if you are trying to do on a particular table, then it will execute that particular trigger after that operation, after that command is successfully completed. Okay, right. So in the instead of case, in the instead of trigger case, so before that command is committed, it will execute this trigger. Okay, right. I'm going to write down this trigger. So same trigger I'm going to use, or else I can write down. So create trigger. The trigger name I'm going to give like after, sorry, instead of. Okay, instead emp, you can give any name, on create trigger. And which table we are going to create? This table. Control C. The trigger type is instead of delete trigger I'm going to create. Okay, instead of delete, create trigger, trigger name on this table, instead instead, instead of delete, as begin, as begin, as it is, right? The difference is, in place of after delete you are putting instead of. Got it? Right. So the same variables I'm going to declare again. Control C. Okay, I don't want this one. And I want to assign this same from whatever the records you have you are going to delete, that records into this variables, right? So this is instead of delete. Before you are trying to delete that records, okay, that records will come to this deleted table, and I am assigning that values into this variables, right? So here I am going to write down one condition like begin if this employee salary, right? So at the rate of emp underscore salary, so this employee salary is greater than 1200. Okay, is greater than 1200, then what I'm going to do here, begin, I don't want to delete this data, so I want to raise an error, raise an error. What error I'm going to raise here? Cannot delete the salary greater than 12,000. Okay, so if any employee having the salary greater than 12,000, so that record, so whatever the record you are going to delete, if that employee having salary greater than 12,000, so I don't want to allow, I don't want to delete. I'm going to print out like cannot delete the employee having sal greater than 1200. Okay, and I want to roll back whatever the records you were going to delete. I want to roll back. Roll back means whatever the operation you have done, that it will roll back. Else means if it is not greater than 1200, what I am going to do? Else part, begin delete from employee test. employee demo. Okay, and you want to insert, if you want to insert the data, then you can insert this data. And you can put it commit, and here you can, then finally and and three ends you have to close it, because you have written one begin, three begins, right? So that's why you have to put, and here I forgot to write end. Okay, right. So this is the trigger I have written. This trigger, what it is doing, create to trigger the trigger name on this particular table. Okay, and the trigger type is instead of delete. So before you are trying to insert any data, it will, okay, what are the records you are going to delete, that records will come to this deleted imaginary table, and what we are going to check something. So if the employee salary greater than 1200, okay, first we'll see what are the, how the salaries are looks. Select star from employee demo. Okay, right. So if you have, our condition is whatever the record you are going to delete. For example, if you are going to delete this employee Manoj, employee number 4 Manoj, so this guy having salary 1300, so it is greater than 1200, right? So if you are trying to insert, if you are trying to delete this record, this trigger will automatically fire, and it is telling like you can't delete this Manoj record because his salary is greater than 1200. This trigger, what action I'm going to write down here, delete trigger before. Okay, right, I'm going to execute this one. Right, what happened? Anything wrong? Sorry, yes. So in the raise error, and that line number I'm going to put like 16 comma 1. This is the format. Okay, right, and this trigger is created instead of emp trigger is created, right? Right. Now I want to delete the record. Select star from this table. So I want to delete the employee name Manoj. Delete from where emp underscore name equal to Manoj. See, it is showing the error. Cannot delete the employee having salary greater than 1200. This message is printing because the employee salary greater than 1200. The transaction ended in the trigger. The batch has been aborted. Got it? So the reason is, so you have written one trigger instead of delete. Before you are going to delete, you are check out this whether this salary, that a particular employee salary, whatever the employee you are going to delete having greater than 1200, then it can't delete. For example, if you are trying to delete the candidate salary, yes, 1100 is Abin, control V, is successfully deleted, right? Right. So you can check, is deleting all the data because I forget to written the condition here where employee underscore id equal to this employee id. Because if you are writing this statement, what will happen in the else part, it will come here and it will execute entire thing. So that's why I'm putting here. So whatever the employee id you are going to delete, that employee id only you have to delete. Okay, this is one sample. Okay, this is one sample. So you can write down, you can track out these triggers. So the main thing what you have to observe here is what is the syntax of this one, and why the purpose of they are writing this trigger, in what scenarios, in what kind of situation you are going to write on the triggers. So for the insert trigger, you just change insert instead of insert. For update, you can change update. Remaining all are same. Okay, so this is about the triggers. So finally in TSQL we have seen store procedures, functions, triggers. Got it? Right. So what is the difference between these three? Stored procedure, functions, triggers. Right. This stored procedure may return or may not return the value. In the stored procedure, you can write down the insert statement also. You can write down the select statement also. If you are putting select statement, it will return the data. But a function should be return the value. It should return the value. And a trigger should return it is not, it is not a kind of it not return any value. It is not returning any value. Okay, and in stored procedures you can execute a user defined function, but in this function you can't execute a stored procedure. In triggers also, and you can put error handling in stored procedures, but in the functions you can't put. Table variables you have to use in the functions, and in stored procedures you can use temporary tables and table variables. The triggers you can use the temporary table variables. So how you are executing this stored procedure functions? So these stored procedure functions you have to call manually and you can execute, but the triggers you you don't call automatically. Whenever any DML command you are going to apply on a particular table, automatically it is trying to execute. Right. So I forgot to tell about this functions. Right, yesterday I think we have discussed only scalar value function. Right, what this scalar value function is doing, it is returning only single value. If you want to return more than one value, like a table value, how you can do? Table value function. So there are two type of table value functions: inline single statement table value function, and the second one is multi statement table value function. Okay, right. How you can write down this inline single statement table value function? The single statement means it will return, it will accepting only one single statement in this function. Right, how to write down? Create function, the function name you have to write down. The function name you can give any name. I am going to give just k, and input parameters if you have, we can give and the return type you have to write down, right? So returns, the type is table type, and yes, so no need to write down begin and end. See, in what scenarios we are writing begin and end? The situation whenever you are writing more than one SQL statement in between begin and end. If you are writing more than one SQL statement, you have to write down begin and. If you don't want to write down, yes, I want to return bracket open, select star from emp where emp number equal to at the rate of employee number, bracket close, right? So that's enough. If you are executing this one, the function is created. And how you can execute this function? So you have to write down like select all the list of the columns, whatever the column list is coming from here, so that you can put the star from the function name is k, and what is the input parameter value? So I want to pass some sample value, right? It is giving this result. Select star from k this value. It is giving a table value function, table result, right? But this inline function accepting only one statement inside this return. You can alter this function like this way. So this is the syntax of inline table value function. And whatever the multi-statement table value function, multi-statement in the sense you can put here your own logic, and you can write down more than one SQL statement. You can put more than one SQL statement, right? How to write down the multi-values, multi-statement table value function? Create function. Function name I'm going to give m, and at the rate of employee number integer, and return type is here I'm going to declare a table variable. How to create a table variable? I'm going to create emp table employee number integer, employee name varchar salary integer, yes, begin. So you have to write down here begin, because you are going to write down more than one statement, right? So what I am going to do, I'm inserting data, insert into this temp variable values. So no, not values, select star, not star, emp number, employee name, salary from emp table. I want to insert lese this data. I want to insert into this table variable, finally it will return the result. So at the end of your function you have to write down return and end. Correct? What I did, create function, function name, input parameter values, and returns. So you don't forget to put yes. Most of the people are putting return and they are trying to see, okay, it is throwing error. So you have to put returns and the table variable name, and the type is table, and what are the columns you are going to display in this return in from this function, you have to mention as begin. I'm going to just inserting this data into. So finally you have to write down return, execute it, command completed successfully. And how to execute this one, same control C. How to execute a table value function, instead of k you can put m, right? It is giving the entire result, right? So and there is one more feasibility here. You can join this function. For executing this one, this data is coming. You can inner join, left join, outer join with tables also, right? For example, select star from emp table as e inner join. I'm going to inner join with this function, control C. So this is a, you have to put in the single brackets, open close brackets, and you have to give the alias name as e2. So this is a derived table, looks like derived table, right? That alias name is e2 on e dot emp number equal to e2 dot e number. For executing, sorry, as we have tried, right, it is giving this entire result. Okay, right. So this way you can join a function with, but you can't write down here in place of a function stored procedure. Okay, so this is about the inline value function and multi-statement type value function. Got it? Right. The next one is performance tuning, and sometimes the requirement is coming like the SQL profiler. If we are coming to the tools, SQL Server Profiler. What this SQL Server Profiler is doing? So if you are running this SQL Profiler, it will trace out all the information, whatever the stored procedures are running and whatever the transactions is running, what queries executing on particular database, that kind of information it will track and it will show to you. Okay, right. I'm going to start this SQL Server Profiler. Just try, go to tools, click on SQL Profiler. Okay, it will trace all the information if you're running. Okay, you have to connect the server, connect, and you can give this a trace name, any name. Okay, I'm going to give VI demo trace. Okay, right. So if you are coming to this here templates, so you have to select if you are selecting TSQL, it will select, it will find out only TSQL related. So always try to select tuning. If you are selecting this tuning, it will give clear picture. If you are selecting other ones, it will give unnecessary things also. System procedures executions only it will return, but I don't want to see that. I want to see only user defined stored procedures and functions execution. So come to event selections. Okay, so you just click here, column filters, and what database you are going to do this one. I'm going to do this one, BI demo database. Sorry, come to database name, the database name like BI demo. Okay, right. If you're running this one, the trace will start. Nothing is executing right now. Okay, right. So what I'm going to do here, I want to, if I have any procedures, programmability stored procedures, right? So I have this procedure, I'm going to execute this procedure. Click OK. See, this procedure is trying to execute. Use bits demo, name, right. I will give one more time. Connect. Trace name you can give any name, and this is tuning only. event selection. What is our database name? BI demo. BI demo. Click OK. Run. So the procedure, instead of procedure, I'm going to write down select star from EMP. Okay. This query I'm going to execute. See, in the trace you can find out this query is coming. It is executing this query and it is taking 20 milliseconds of the time. Okay. This is the session ID. See, 57 is the session ID. Okay, and the database ID is 7 and the database name is BA demo. The login name is this one. So you can trace out so what are the procedures are running, how many procedures are running, and how many queries are running, which query is taking too much time. So this is giving the duration also, right? So which query is taking too much time, so you can trace out here by using this SQL profiler. Okay, right. After you are tracing all this information, you have saved somewhere, right? So you can stop here, or you can put pause, or you can stop this one. Okay, and that will save somewhere. File, save as, sorry, right, it will save somewhere. Okay, somewhere in the sense wherever you are giving that location, in that location it will save. For example, this location. This is the file name. This is the tuning, event selection, column filter, BA demo. So BA demo. So I'm going to delete this. Click OK. Run. So you can save somewhere. Sorry. Go to file, save as trace file. So you can save somewhere X. Okay, close it. So you can see on the desktop, right? The trace name is K or X, right? X.trc. This is the trace file. Okay, right. By using this trace file, come to tools, database tuning advisory. So what this database tuning advisory is doing? So whatever the tracing information you have got from the SQL profiler, that SQL profiler, what it is doing, what it is giving, it will give all the whatever the procedures and whatever the lengthy queries are running on your machine. Those all this trace information is stored in that file. So now what I am going to do here? So that trace file I am going to upload here. Okay, and which database you are going to uh, run this database tuning advisory. This database tuning advisory, it will try to do some analysis on that particular trace and the particular database. Okay, and finally it will tell to you, so to improve the performance of this SQL queries or this database, on which tables we have to create the indexes, and it will give the index structure also, create structure also it will give. Okay, right. So like VA demo and just start analysis. If there is any indexes recommended, then it will give that information. right. So consuming workload message is coming, right? The minimum storage space required. The minimum storage space required for the selected physical design structure exceeding the default storage space selected by the database in the tuning advisory. Either keep fewer physical design structures. Okay. This is a memory issue related error. No problem. Okay. So once you are getting these tuning at options, okay. So it will give some here. So there is right now there is it don't require any indexes. So once if you really require the indexes, in the last tab it will get one index structure. Okay, then you just copy that index structure, or you can go to actions and not actions, wait, right, you just click on that, what are the button is coming here. If you are clicking on that, it will automatically creating the indexes. Right now we don't have any data in this particular table, right? So that indexes, if it is recommended more data, right? So right now we have only 14 rows. Okay, so I will demonstrate you that database tuning advisor tomorrow with some clear long lengthy tables and long lengthy data. Okay, now Nisha, I will discuss this thing about tomorrow session. Okay, so tomorrow is the end of this SQL server. Okay, and I will take care about SSIS also tomorrow. Okay, half an hour for SQL server, and the remaining SSIS we will start tomorrow. Okay,
Yeah, thank you, Ram.
thanks.